theme park nerds. What's up? This is Mike.
And I'm Parker, and yes, I do have hair. Yay! Anyways, welcome to another episode of Theme Park Nerds. This week, we're going to be talking about some very riveting things.
We're going to start off first with some of the big changes coming to the Las Vegas Strip, because the Strip is like a giant theme park anyways. We're going to look at the new additions going over to the Link and in front of New York, and Monte Carlo, all the different cool retail wars and Ferris wheels that are going up.
We're also going to be talking about Universal Studios Hollywood as a whole. There are all kinds of things going on right now. There is Harry Potter. There's the closure of the Gibson Amphitheater that was announced this week. There's also the addition of Despicable Me at Terminator 2. We're going to look at a little bit at that.
And last but not least, we're going to look at the epic long lines that are starting at Interventions over the new Iron Man attraction, which is lining them up and piling them into Interventions over in Tomorrowland. So first
the most
up,
Ripley's Believe It or Not thing Disneyland could ever do, and I love it.
It is a thing that is happening.
Anyways, let's stop it off. Let's start out with Vegas. Vegas is actually where, in Mike's neck of the woods, he's out on the West Coast. I'm here in the Midwest, rocking the,
Where I am where things happen all the time, and Parker is where watching a ladybug cross the street is news.
Yeah. However, we have more roller coasters out here in the Midwest than Mike does in the entire West Coast. Makes no sense, but I love it.
And how many have you been to this summer, Parker? How many have you been to since you've been out there?
It's not the summer yet. Just turned spring, and it's still snowing.
Okay, how many
outside.
have you been there in the year since you've been there? That year. How long? How many? How many?
It's
Can
been
you call
a
yourself a
while.
nerd? Can you call yourself a nerd?
Anyways, Vegas, go!
MGM Resorts just announced a big new expansion to the facades and fronts of the New York, Monte Carlo, and City Center area that goes in addition to the 20,000-seat arena that they are adding behind New York, and Monte Carlo. It involves the pushing out of the facades of New York, and Monte Carlo to add retail space there, the bulldozing of the City Center leasing office to make a kind of pedestrian promenade that will leave more restaurants and shops back into the 20,000-seat arena that is under construction. All this is supposed to be done in a few years. This is in addition to the Link retail shopping area that's going in between what is now the Quad, formerly the Imperial Palace, and the Flamingo that is leading back to the first of 3 proposed ginormous Ferris wheels being built on the Strip. So it's a lot of retail and possibly a lot of Ferris wheels. So what do you think about all this, Mr. Outsider?
There's a lot of Ferris wheel. Now, if there's one thing that Vegas is already not lacking, it's retail space. So the fact that they're finding ways to make the curb go away and the front decor go away to add more space for shops is whatever. Mike and I were talking before the show that there's currently 3 yogurt shops within one building, 3 Starbucks within one building. Now, even here in the Midwest, I have 2 Starbucks within 2 stoplights of one another, and I'm okay with that, but that's driving distance. Midwest people understand that. Vegas, you just walk. You could drive if you live outside the Strip, but on the Strip, you walk. So the fact that there's this much, this close, and now you're adding more space for, I don't get it. Unless Elton John's gonna be put in a box on the Strip, and that's how I'm gonna get to see him. I'm fine with that. But other than that, no.
Interesting you choose Elton John. So my favorite part of this whole media announcement and everything that came out of this was there was a statement from MGM in the press that said, we realize that our guests like to travel between hotel resorts and don't like to stay at one place, so we're just facilitating that. First off, they have already built tram systems and connections and walkways and bridges to link their resorts together so that you can walk between resort and resort. I don't buy that they just figured out that people are walking on the Strip, because they've been doing that a while. B, the retail expansion in Vegas, I'm happy that they're building again because it's been a rough few years since the economy crashed, but this whole thing is tied to a 20,000-seat arena that's being built. It's going to be larger than the MGM Garden Arena, which I believe is 16,000 seats. And so how many people need to see a show at one time in Vegas? Apparently a lot, and apparently there's business for it, so yay, because I'm in the hotel industry and I need people to stay in rooms. But how many like I said, it's all within walking distance. Like we're talking about two giant arenas across the street from each other, and if they ever finish them all, which sure that'll happen, 3 Ferris wheels on within a 10-minute walk from each other. Really, the Ferris? Okay, let's talk about Ferris wheels.
Sports,
let's talk about Ferris wheels.
You always need more. You always need more points, more people in the stands, more hot dogs. You need more. So I totally get the whole like retail space aspect where, there's, if you build it, they will come kind of idea, and it is Vegas. But 3 Ferris wheels to me, that's a lot of looking at the same crap. I mean, the reason that you stay at different hotels is because each one has a different view. Each one looks at the strip this way. Like I've stayed in Treasure Island. You look out, you see the Mirage, you see the volcano blowing up. You stay in the Bellagio, you see the fountains. You say, depending on where you're at. But these are Ferris wheels. They're going to be in different locations. Don't get me wrong.
Well, at the same time, let's talk really quick about where these Ferris wheels are going, just to give everybody a perspective. The first one, which is the one that's probably actually going to be completed, which is the High Roller, is going behind the Imperial Palace. It'll be parallel to the Strip. And so that's being built as part of the Lynx complex that'll be connected through the walkway between Imperial and Flamingo. The second one, which has started but nobody really thinks it's going to be finished, is the Skyview. That's across from Mandalay Bay on the far south side of the Strip. So that one's running perpendicular to the Strip, so you get more of a straight down the street view. And that one, it has the 2 pillars up to hold the wheel, and that's about as far as they got. The third one that was just announced a few weeks ago. I don't know if it has a name yet, but it's going to go in the Hawaiian Marketplace parking lot area, which is by Polo Towers, between Polo Towers and MGM, which right now is just a giant parking lot with a small strip mall in the front. That they want to build a pirate-themed adventure park with another giant Ferris wheel in it. And that's right. Okay, 1 giant Ferris wheel, sure. 2 pushing it, and then to announce the third one when the second one is already stalling because of whatever issues, and now you're building a third one with an adventure park when you're basically right next door to the failed MGM Grand Adventures theme park that is now the signature in the MGM Garden Arena. It's not Vegas and theme parks have tried and they don't work that well, so let's try it again because always just keep going. So,
roll it.
Anyway, if you need to shop, come to Vegas in 2014 and 2015 because you'll have lots of places, even more than now because now there's plenty. Soon you'll be, no matter where you walk, you'll have the opportunity to buy a thing.
Have we speculated at all who's going into this new arena?
Well, it's going to be like the MGM Garden where it's just kind of like rotating things. So boxing matches and rodeos and conventions and whatever concerts touring through town. Like, it's not going to be like a set show. It's going to be just a generic arena for whatever wants to set up shop there.
Who would you like to see, not necessarily put up, like, set up house in the new arena, but who would you like to see come into town? And
who isn't already in Vegas? Like, that's the
Disney on Ice is not in Vegas.
Disney on Ice has been in Vegas. I have seen Disney on Ice in Vegas. So
these are all lies. This has never happened. You can Google it. It's never happened. Number 2.
Let me ask my friend.
Please don't Google it. That was already wrong. There was a traveling Batman show that came through the Midwest not too long ago. I think that if you're drunk enough, which it's Vegas, probably are, I think that would be perfect. I don't know if perfect is perfect enough of a word. You can't use a word for its own definition. So
I think it's. I don't really care. Like, I would even say something cultural, but Vegas a couple years ago just finished the Smith Center and the Reynolds Auditorium in downtown, which is their new 2,000-seat cultural center for like Broadway shows and classical concerts and that sort of stuff, which I've been doing. It's gorgeous. So that's another thing that's already going. So it's not like I can say, oh, I want some culture because we got that too. Not that anybody goes because Vegas culture Cirque du Soleil. like who else is left? Like there's everybody tours through. I'm pretty sure Rihanna has been at Mandalay 18 times in the last 2 months. And it's always, she's coming, get your tickets now. And it's like, she's going to be here tomorrow too. Like she's just going to go somewhere else and just come right back. So
I'll tell you who's not moving into this brand new place. Chris Angel. He's not. We're going to California. We are talking Harry Potter at Universal Studios Hollywood. Announced this week the Gibson Amphitheater, which has been around since the dawn of time. It was also around with the dinosaurs, which was before time, and Time, the ever-flowing river. All sorts of Jurassic Park themes, everything. Gibson Amphitheater coming down. I never got to visit. I remember things happened there, but it's going bye-bye. And you know what? There are enough clubs in City Walk that I feel like Gibson is just a bigger place to have it.
The Gibson was a bit more of a bit more than a club. It was, several thousand seats, I believe. But
it was an arena. It's an outdoor arena.
Yeah, it's an amphitheater.
It's Hollywood. You have the bowl. You have the Hollywood friggin' bowl. Go do it there if you're that good.
And that's the only one they need in the entire city of Hollywood. That's it. Just the Hollywood Bowl.
It's
done.
It has history. It's perfect. It's beautiful. I don't even know why we have to talk about this anymore.
Well, okay, we're good. Next topic. Anyway, so the big news was that the city of Hollywood approved Universal's expansion plans. They included the demolition of the Gibson Amphitheater to make way for the construction of their Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It included some hotel complexes, some parking structures, some changes to the tram routes and attractions. But the big news of it all was they are finally able to go ahead with the hardcore construction of Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So it's going to get interesting because Universal Studios Hollywood, especially the upper lot where all this is happening, is very small. It's a very, very small theme park, and it's going to be having a lot of construction. They got Terminator 2 closed within the last year to make way for Despicable Me, which is a simulator ride going in there that's already in Universal Orlando. They bulldozed the Wild West Stunt Show to make kind of more like a park area. They've been doing the work on The Simpsons for Springfield, and now they're starting to rip out the Gibson to make way for Harry Potter. And the plan talked about possibly changing up the Waterworld show as well. So the real question is, what's open?
Welcome to Universal Studios Hollywood. Please find the escalators and go downstairs.
Yes. just walk through these construction walls and just go down. Because it's a lot of people online are liking this to California Adventure for the multi-year construction they had where it was just Construction Wall City.
No.
Do you think it's the same?
There was still stuff in California Adventure. I mean, I went when things were under construction. Little Mermaid wasn't open yet, and there was a very nice wall. Me and you went when World of Color was still kind of, being built. That was fun. Cupcake wine does not taste like cupcakes, just for the record.
Yeah.
But, that was a completely different idea because the central portion of the park was open. It was just kind of the boardwalk area that was getting redone.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think we exaggerate a bit. Simpsons will still be open. The special effects show will be open, and animal actors, and then the whole lower lot's fine. But it's a lot going into this tiny little park. Like they're doing a lot of work all at once, and they quoted the price online as around $1.6 billion. That's California Adventure, Downtown Disney, and Grand Californian, and the parking structure. In 2001, but we're maybe getting 2 hotels out of this, which is going to be a lot of infrastructure. Harry Potter is probably a couple $100 million. That's a lot of stuff for a little tiny park like this to be adding this much at once. It's going to be a rough couple years to go to Universal Hollywood.
And it makes sense to me also in the whole. This is going to be kind of messed up. Because I do remember now going into California Adventure and immediately being whisked away. Please go this way because the park that way is not a park right now. Please go this way behind a building. We will sell you a Mr. Potato Head on your way into the park. welcome to Condor Flats. Nothing makes any sense. Have a good day. Go do whatever you're doing. I do remember that. So doing that at a Universal Studios park, which is already when you walk in, you're like,
I'm in New York. I'm in London. I'm in a studio.
Where are
I'm
the
in
rides?
Springfield. I'm on an escalator.
Springfield.
Well, but at least the
I
lower
get it.
lot's done. Like, at least with Transformers, and maybe it's probably part of their master plan anyway, but maybe I'm giving them too much credit. At least Transformers made it so the lower lot is where all the action is happening now anyway. Granted, once Harry Potter opens, I'm not going to care about Transformers anymore. But at least they got a nice big mega attraction done away, as far away from the construction as you can get, 40 escalators away from the construction. So once this goes into full force, hopefully people will still be beelining it for Transformers and just kind of walk past what they already walked past going to the park anyway.
Yeah, I mean, again, it makes sense. They did do a little bit of work on the lower lot as well. They did a little bit over at the Jurassic Park area. They have like a kiddie kind of little bit area that they just put together. It's very teeny tiny.
Dinosaurs.
It's very teeny tiny, but it looks very nice. They did a good job. They put in some foliage. They took care of the lower lot to make it nice. So when the top lot goes to and blows up, once they get past all the work walls and the coming soon and all this stuff, when they go downstairs, it's still a very nice park.
Yes.
Last but not least, let's head over to Disneyland.
Yeah, Disneyland!
Where an old building in the middle of the old land that's super
still spinning
retro,
for no
decided
reason.
to put a bunch of metal suits in a building, and they will come. We're talking, of course, Iron Man.
Okay, so there's a new Iron Man exhibit in Innoventions in Tomorrowland, which is basically a virtual reality-esque simulator with sensors to kind of build the suit. No, what's not it? What is it?
It's not. I mean, it's virtual reality in the fact that I bought a Kinect 2 years ago, and there's a Disneyland game for it that has better graphics than me suiting up in this. No.
So it's a enhanced reality? Is that the word they're using for it?
It's
a thing.
We had a budget of $150, and we could only buy 2 Kinect sensors and 1 Xbox to run them off of. And the graphics guy was sick that day, so we got the intern to make an Iron Man cardboard box that would cardboard itself onto someone when they stand.
So despite that that amazing description from Parker, this attraction is now getting cues for Innoventions, just lines, and this Innoventions still is featuring Microsoft Windows 98 downstairs with their GameCube games.
It's the future,
but people are coming. It finally got people in Innoventions. Is this what it took? So my question is, if this is all it took, is Iron Man and a suit smacking onto your body like in the movie, why haven't they figured it out yet? Why has Innoventions been a ghost town, and why are they just now figuring it out?
I don't think this is really fixing Innoventions. I think that you're going into Tomorrowland and Space Mountain 101. You are going into Tomorrowland. You're going to ride Buzz. You're going to look at the old People Mover track that has nothing on it. You have Autopia. You have the Nemo subs, which has a 56-minute line. And
so if you haven't seen how they're loading this sucker, Innoventions has a very elaborate pre-show with, it's built on the old Carousel of Progress Theater, so the bottom part is a carousel of progress. So as it moves, it's supposed to be like you get on, there's a thing, and then you get into the house. It's still spinning, but you can't get in.
Are they still doing the robot, too?
Creepiest thing ever, and I totally don't encourage anybody to do this, but if you really want to do this, Tom Morrow, the full animatronic that used to greet you in the pre-show for Innoventions, is still there behind a curtain. That if you go on the carousel because inside Innoventions, and you go on the carousel and you just walk back a bit, he's there just hanging out. Scared my friend's daughter to death. It's awesome because he's just a creepy robot turned off, hanging out behind a curtain. So anyway, because they have a pre-show and they don't want to staff it and it's way out of date, they're making you enter through the exit and exit through the spinning, moving entrance. And I don't get it. Like, at the very least, now that you have an attraction that's drawing people into this building, use your setup. Like, if you got a line, at the very least, use your pre-show so that you can hype it up and get people through the rest of the building and not just go straight to Iron Man. Like, use it for what you built it for. Use the show that you made. Use the animatronic that you got behind a curtain. Use the house entrance that you made to welcome you into the thing. Don't just shove you in through the back door and pretend it's a thing, Disney.
Do you think if they were to put a churro cart there?
I think if they put a churro cart where all the product display people were, or just make every door a different food item. So you got popcorn, you got a churro, you got a cheese pretzel, you got cozy cone, you got pop cone, you got...
You want a cheesecake filled churro? You're gonna have to wait for stuff.
Then that'll help your attraction counts and your turnstiles keeps going, and it looks like it eventually is a thing again. And then it doesn't get bulldozed for a Tron coaster.
And then it also makes it look like, you know, people are, you know, it's actually rotating people through. Oh my gosh. You know what? That's it for this week, nerds. We will be back next week for more exciting, spectacular talk about all the crazy topics. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page. We love your support. All you got to do is go and click like. And you know what? That helps us out tremendously. We also have a blog, which we are currently... Are we still
we will be rocking
the
the blog.
right now,
Don't
Mike?
worry. The blog will be rocked. And while you're reading up on all that awesome stuff on the blog, follow us on Twitter so you can see all the other cool stuff that we're posting at Theme Park Nerds. And make sure you're liking all these YouTube videos because it means a lot to us to know that somebody's actually watching these. We're not just talking to ourselves through a camera.
We really appreciate it. Comment, like, do whatever you got to do. Tweet us, follow us, do it all. Have a great week, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Real Hair.
He's really
Check it out.
bald, and see you next week, nerds.
Bye.